Hello, welcome back, everyone. And today, again, we have First Memory, Alex and Desiree, and us from Sakaso, Paul and Satomi. And today we have an exciting topic again. And now we are sharing a new approach to healing body, mind, and life. And we're going to share this great new approach. And we're going to start with maybe first memory, Alex and Desiree.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, should we just jump in? Oh, another thing I want to share, sorry, is we have decided we're going to do this every week. Is that right?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Every Sunday.
Yeah, every Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific,
So it's 3 p.m. Central,
4
p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys can calculate your time. But yeah, every week, Sunday, we're going to do this and we're going to share lots of stuff about healing and healing your body, mind, and then life.
Relationship,
Yeah.
healing relationship, healing your finances, right? Everything, your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starting from yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that was the great news that we wanted to share first. And let's jump in about new approach.
Thank you, Sakaso. So first memory is basically what we've done is we've just got one way to heal. And through us, that's actually like, and we talk about trauma healing, but also like just shifting your state of mind from sadness to happiness, shifting yourself from illness to wellness. All of this is all combined. We want to raise our vibration right now. And so what we specialize in and our way to heal has been embodiment. And so I wanted Alex to actually please explain what embodiment is to us.
Well, yeah, thank you. So that is important to define, because I think that embodiment is a very common term these days, and I think it might mean slightly different things to different people. So embodiment to us is really the act of being present in the moment, fully present. So that means truly engaging with the body and engaging with the earth and engaging with our immediate environment. In order to do this, like, we really have to understand the way that the mind and the emotions work in conjunction with the physical body. And when we consider that consciousness is this perpetually expanding spectrum, our awareness is where on that spectrum we're actually paying attention. And I think that most of us have a hard time truly being in the moment, especially because of emotional wounding and trauma. There's always a little bit of a dissociation where our consciousness is not fully present in the body, and it's not completely firing on all cylinders, so to speak, when it comes to the nervous system. So it's lagging a little bit. And so to be embodied means to really be fully present. And embodiment practices are a number of tools that we use in order to make the body feel safe, make the nervous system feel safe, in order for that synchronistic union to happen, because ultimately that is when our sympathetic nervous system is activated and we're under stress or fear. It seems to be a natural mechanism for our awareness to dissociate itself from the body. So we use a number of tools to get it to get it back into the body and into the present moment.
And so one other thing that we do because of this, because we're focused on the body, is we focus a lot on nutrition. And I don't think you can heal anything without thinking about nutrition too, because, you know, with illness to wellness, that's obvious. But with depression, it's the same. Like you can't eat sugar and not expect that not to lower your immune system and not expect that to make you depressed later. So we focus on all of the embodiment practices, and nutrition is a big component of that, because we can arm ourselves with the nutrition to take on anything in our environment. It's pretty magnificent.
Mhm.
So
We,
what's
we all
exciting
have,
though,
yeah, we all have the idea like what you eat makes what you are, right? Got the
yeah.
general idea, but we don't really pay enough attention, right? And then, oh, I'm eating healthy, but
Mhm.
really,
Mhm.
if you look into closely, maybe not, right? And then you guys come in and the nutrition program, and then you guys look every little detail, right? And
Mhm.
yeah,
And you know what's crazy is these habits are hard to change. Like
yeah,
they're just really, really hard to change, because I think everybody has tried to eat healthier or they've tried to go on a diet, and there are these obstacles that prevent us from doing that. So,
hmm,
Yeah,
so
and my understanding is that you guys, like, there's so many like fad diets, right? All that kind of stuff where you're gonna fix yourself in 3 weeks or something, right? Um, you guys have a different approach, though, right?
well, I feel like this is a more sustainable approach. So,
Yeah,
like, whereas there's a cleanse, then this is something to maintain. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I even struggle with the term diet, because diet implies that it has a beginning and an end. And we do diets, we're bodybuilders, and from time to time, as an example, like we like to go through these cutting phases where we like to, burn as much body fat as possible. So that's a diet. But really, as it comes to healing, we really look at it more as a nutrition plan, right? There are habits and understanding and just a sense of awareness that we bring into our relationship with food that is sustainable over a lifetime, because that's ultimately what it's about, is being healthy. So anything that is too restrictive, that is too mechanistic, is not going to be able to be sustained for a long time. And it might actually get in the way of truly being in the moment and enjoying life, right? So it's all about balance, and that's kind of what we focus on. A lot of people say, well, I'm scared because I like my pizza too much, or my cookies, I don't want to give up my cheesecake, right? Well, you actually don't have to, but it's about really getting disciplined as to and being aware, bringing that awareness into how many calories are going in versus how many calories are being burned in any given day, so that you don't get off kilter, right? So if you bring that awareness into your daily routine, and really focus on what you're eating every single meal, you can learn to manipulate your diet in such a way to leave that window of enjoying what you want, and as much of it as you want, because you can, and we do all the time. We like buffets, we like pizza, burgers, all the yummy things in life, and we allow ourselves to have that, but not all the time.
Yeah, well, that's such a key a key thing to strike that balance, right? Because so many people are into like, oh, I want to get myself into a certain condition. They'll go on that diet, and they kind of burn up their ability to work with it further once they get to their goal weight or something like that. Then they're just like, oh my god, I need that. I need my comfort foods right now, right? And there's with that mentality, that mindset of a diet with a beginning and an end. That end means a change in behavior that is probably not going to sustain where you want to be, right? And so what you guys are talking about is a balanced approach where you're developing enough awareness. I'm guessing without needing a PhD in dietary,
Yeah.
nutrition, right? You don't need a PhD in order to do your program, and but you have a certain amount of awareness, and you have the approach is not as a diet with an end point. It's a lifestyle change, so that you're able to sustain it over the long haul and create the kind of wellness that you really want in your life, right? And nutrition is such a big part of that. So the food you take is so important. It can either make you sick or it can lift you up, right?
Yeah, and like Satomi was, even as Satomi was saying, you know, I think that we all tend to have a general understanding of you are what you eat. But even just that phrase, I think it implies this very linear process of we eat food, it becomes cells, right? It's very static and based in material reality. And it's more than that, because when we really consider them, there really is no separation between mind and body. Mind, body, and the emotional body, which is really the piece that brings the two together, are an infinite loop. There's no beginning and there's no end. They are continuously influencing one another. So as we influence the body, we are influencing the mind and therefore our emotions. There's no way around it. And so bringing that awareness into our food really is yet another layer of empowerment that we can unlock in our lives to really be able to regulate and work with our emotions and our states of mind consciously.
Yeah, and while still also enjoying life and like having those indulgence foods, like you're saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, and it's shamanic in that way. As you guys probably already know, you know, shamanism is truly our primary framework for how we work with all these different tools, and being able to attain, like, shift in and out of different states of consciousness. It's what it's all about for us. And so even when it comes to food and the state of consciousness that you go into when you're eating a very restricted calorie diet is very different than when you are, you know, at the buffet line and just like shoving your face with really like yummy, you know, very bad for you food. It's a very different state of consciousness. And so navigating in and out of that actually enhances one another. It really like
it makes all the food taste better. Because you appreciate every bite. And but I also want to play on the comfort thing. You said something about comfort. You know, you can make a diet comfortable and you can feel like just as much joy and pleasure and all those same flavors you can pretty much make in your diet. So you don't really feel like you're missing out unless you're like restricting calories and you slightly feel like you're missing out. But then there's always a cheat and a refeed meal. So
well, and that little bit of that feeling that you just described, that you're missing out, it's not so much that you're missing out on pleasure, but when you are restricting calories, your body is going to have an impulse, an instinctive impulse to feed. That's what it's designed to do. And so that gives you an opportunity really to start to harness the power of the mind and being able to regulate your nervous system. So because at the core, all of our practices revolve around that mechanism, is really nervous system regulation and being able to push back on that instinctual impulse that the nervous system wants to have, so that we can become more the masters of how the energies that we're allowing our bodies to feel. And that's a very important piece. Again, it's just like any other of our other, you know, hormetic stress practices. It's about going into that state of slight discomfort and being okay with it. And your body starts to have this instinctual thing. It's like, wait up, we're not comfortable anymore, right? You gotta breathe when you're doing the breath work, or, you know, you gotta get out of the cold, or whatever it is. Like, you gotta stop exercising, it's too hard. And then that's when your mind kicks in. Hold on, it's okay. It's okay. Calm down. We got this, right? And so that little bit of pushing back from the mind on the body has profound impact on other aspects of our lives.
Right. So far, like first memory program, nutrition, and body work. This is not really a new approach. You've been doing this for a long time as first memory, right? So we wanted to jump into this new approach.
It's new for us to bring this into,
new approach that we are talking about, healing. And so which part is new is who wants to start?
Maybe I'll give sort of an overview, I guess.
Sure.
Well, so I mean, coming from our perspective, probably some of the listeners are aware, but just to touch on it a little bit, the approach that we take is that Satomi goes in with a reading and is able to diagnose the issue, right? So whatever it is that's causing problems for someone, whatever they're fighting, whatever's creating difficulties in their life, pain, sickness,
The
loneliness.
blocks.
Yeah, so many like psychological, emotional, financial, everything, all that stuff. Satomi can find what the issue is holding people back, and that's by itself, that's a big deal. Being able to find out what the source of the problem is, because so many people tried so many things, they're struggling for so long, and they're kind of lost, right? Because they're frustrated. It's hard. I get it, but Satomi's able to identify the right door to walk through. Then we do the subconscious shift work, and that subconscious shift work works with that source of the problem and shifts your subconscious mind away from that where you're afraid, right? Because your subconscious mind is trying to keep you safe and trying to keep you exactly where you are, no matter where that is. That could be in a very unhealthy situation for yourself in so many different ways, but at least you're not dying. And that's where your subconscious mind is. It's like, this is safe because I'm not dying right now. So that's kind of the litmus test for your subconscious mind. Could be unhealthy, but no, well, I'm used to it, so we're good. But no, you don't want that, because the long term, it's going to wear you out. It's going to create so many problems for you, and that's why people get sick. That's why they suffer in their lives psychologically. That's why they create relationships for themselves that are unhealthy. That's why they are frustrated in moving forward with earning money, creating opportunities for themselves in their lives. It just goes on and on. So that's our general approach in a nutshell, right? And then we provide support after we do that work. Sorry, I missed that part almost. We provide support to help you through that, through our counseling and life coaching and all that kind of stuff. So the thing is, though, that there's lots of people so many people who can benefit amazingly from working more with other dimensions, right? So there's the dimensions that First Memory, you guys are experts in what you're just talking about, in that kind of just, nutrition. It's not a new thing in the world, but your approach to it is unique because it's balancing and empowering people rather than based on denial, right? Simply, of course, you're not, like you said, you're not able to just eat whatever you want, whenever you want, as much as you want, kind of thing. That's what gets people into trouble. However, it's not based on simply you're going to go without and you're going to lose pounds or something like that. There's way more balance, way more to it, because you want to build up your strength. There's so many other aspects to it, and you're empowering your psychology, the way you're approaching it. It's beautiful. So that kind of approach, that balanced and ultimately spiritual approach, it meshes perfectly with what we do in bringing your body up, right? And the programs that you guys offer, being incredible experts in how to work with your body to bring yourself up to your maximum, right? To build your muscle up, to build your mobility, your flexibility, your balance, your cardiovascular, and then also the meditations you guys offer. It brings a whole collection of techniques and a set of new habits for people to use after they go through. That's the way we're looking at this. Is so perfect, because if they work with us, they do a subconscious shift, and they come along with your program, and enhance themselves in so many other ways and build these new habits, these empowering habits that build off of the subconscious change that we make, that we help people make, then people are, to me, it's just going like this, right? It's creating a complete solution, because where we've had gaps before, we've been helping people through it, but we're not as expert as you guys are by any means. You come along with that, and then just meshing with what we're offering. To me, it's providing a complete solution that will do nothing but take people just on this, just wherever they want to go.
Yeah, I think that this is the kind of way that I did my own healing. Is like I had to find someone who could see through me, who could see my problem more than I could see, because I couldn't see. Like I had a million problems, and so I could list all those out, and that wouldn't do me any good. But having someone with vision, like Sakaso has and Satomi, they start off with like helping you see into what is stopping you from reaching your goal, whatever it is, like financial wealth, your body goals, your health goals, whatever's getting in your way of like achieving that goal. Like they can see what's about to get you, and then they can take you through PSYCH-K and reprogram that. And it's just, and then you start working with us to really put in these new habits that really so what I consider shamanism is like relationships with nature. And if you've ever been in nature, you know, nature is so intense that she's unforgiving. Like, you know, hurricanes, tornadoes, these things are just very unforgiving. Well, so is our diet, and our diet is a part of nature, and so is the way that we move our bodies. So like combining like this approach of like tapping in and then reprogramming and then acting with those new programs, then it's like guaranteed to like shift your life. It's like, no way.
Yeah, so this new approach that we are sharing is a combined approach, firstMemory and Sakaso combined. And we both agree the missing piece, our missing piece, Sakaso's missing piece is like the last step after the reading and the subconscious shift. And then third step is we support them, but they are on their own, right? Doing building their new habit. They pick their actions and they follow through, and we support, but we don't give them any professional advice. You do this workout and you eat this, right? No, nothing, and we don't have anything. And then you guys came in like, oh my God, you guys are perfect. firstMemory. This is our missing piece, right? So yeah,
you complete me, mini me.
that's our perspective. Having you guys joining us, or us joining you. I guess we're meeting in the middle, but yeah. So this is really amazing. It really feels like it completes the healing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I think it was one of the clients said like, you said a little bit earlier, seeing through what you are struggling, right? What in you, like sometimes you're too close to see.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So having somebody to see through you, and then making subconscious change, like one lady said, it's not like I feel like I'm cheating. But it feels like yeah, you can take it, like lots of people take so many years to go through, and then you're doing the reading the subconscious shift, and just change in one session, and then following your programs, firstMemory, and workout, like a whole total body workout, and then nutrition.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is powerful.
It's very powerful. It's also like step 2 is included in our 3-step approach. So find the problem, shifting, fixing, creating the opportunity by making the subconscious shift. So you're in a way fixing it, but you've got to follow through with step 3 to make it an everyday reality, right? But with first memory, what you guys are doing is enhancing both of these two last steps, really, because there's no separation between the body and the subconscious mind. They're one, and they're so interlinked. Your subconscious mind, it's hard for people to grasp because it's what you're not aware of by definition, right? Yes, we're aware of our thoughts, generally speaking, but everything else that's going on, it's unbelievable. So we simply could not function in our lives without our subconscious mind. We would die just immediately, because we would not be able to breathe, we would not be able to eat, we would not be able to digest, we would not be able to, our heart wouldn't be regulating properly. We would not be able to walk or talk or do anything. That's our subconscious mind just taking care of everything for us, right? We delegate everything to our subconscious mind, and it's just on automatic, generally speaking. But when you take on a new habit, when you take on an exercise that you're building your muscle, right? You're using muscles you're not used to. At first, you got to start out humble, right? But as you're building that muscle, every single time you do a rep or every single workout, you are training your subconscious mind. You're training your subconscious mind to deal with the strain of the exercise, right? With bodybuilding, as an example, you're tearing down some muscle every time you work out, right? And then you go through the healing phase, and then you're building it back up stronger than it was before, right? So you're stressing yourself to a certain degree intentionally with your workout, and then you're allowing your body's natural healing process, because it knows exactly what to do with that. What knows exactly what to do with that? Your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind linked into every little aspect of your body's function. It knows what to do with that, and so you're training your subconscious mind to actually anticipate and look forward to that next workout. Mm-hmm. So that you, instead of you're not always having to push yourself. Once you're getting used to it, it becomes easier and easier to do the next workout. It becomes a lifestyle. It becomes a practice. It becomes part of your life that mm-hmm. And the other rewards that come with it are just unbelievable. When you work out, you get so many endorphins. Those endorphins are firing off so much brain activity, so much enhancement of other aspects of your life. So when you're working out, that's going to help your sleep cycle. That's going to help you be relaxed while you're at the office and working away, right? When you meditate, as you guys are also, you also help people with that. As you're meditating, you are training your body on the other side of the equation, on the rest and growth side of it. So that balance is there to bring in these new habits into your life that are working with your subconscious mind and creating a whole new you, literally, mm-hmm. right? It doesn't just show in your physique, it's in your subconscious mind. It allows you to deal with, and I know you guys are so into this, I'm going to let you guys explain how that allows you to be resilient.
Well, I think it's important that we start to dream big and that we choose our future. So, however we want our body to feel and, what kind of energy we want to have in our life. We have to envision it ourselves, and if you're stuck in a state of fear, maybe that's not a good place to be. So shifting out of those states before you make your goals, and then think big. How do you want to live, and where do you want to live, and how do you want to feel, and what kind of relationships do you want to have? And I think it's...
Are you talking big picture, or just talking in terms of body composition
goals? Both. So yeah, I think that we do need to envision our future.
The very active...
our environment and everything.
I don't know if we're tying it back to what Paul was saying. You were speaking in terms of exercise, right?
Well, exercise, meditation, nutrition, all of it really, all of those things are working with your subconscious mind. There's no way to avoid it.
No,
So
absolutely
you're
not.
creating subconscious programs for yourself that allow you to live life in a way that's more, you're relaxed when you need to be, you're ready for action when you need to be, right? You're ready
Yeah,
to deal with hardship.
absolutely. It's really through repetition, like you said. We usually hear it called as muscle memory, right? We're building certain habits and repetitions into our muscle memory. That means it's getting recorded. That track is getting carved out in our neural connections over time, so that it becomes second nature. So that requires a little bit of effort, of course, and a little bit of discipline to keep that repetition going long enough to create the new habits. But what you're saying too is that in the process of doing so, you're actually exercising your resilience, because the body, and it seems to be just an overall law of the universe to try to conserve energy. And so when it can set stuff into automatic motion, it's conserving energy, right? So the more that everything is kind of on automatic, it prefers to stay there. So changing it requires a little bit of extra energy, a little bit of extra effort, and along with it comes usually a little bit of discomfort, because we're always seeking that comfortable state. So by pushing and leaning into that discomfort, what we're doing is we're actually training our mind and our nervous system to get used to that slight little bit of stress, right? Stress can be a number of different things, from physical stress to actual, anxiety that we might feel out in life. And so we're leaning into that little bit of discomfort. And what's interesting when you look at neuroscience is that the very act of doing that actually makes us better at it, because our brain rewards us with an extra dopamine release when we push into the discomfort. Whenever we're faced with a challenge, we essentially have two choices. We can run away from the challenge, or we can step towards the challenge, fight it, right? It's that fight or flight reaction. And of course there's freeze, and now, trauma theory identifies different states that we can go into, but those are the two main ones. And when we actually go towards the threat or go towards the challenge, our brain, studies have shown this, release that dopamine, and it gives us that extra motivation to actually dive into it. So when you're talking about these short bouts of artificial stress, so to speak, and working out is one of them, but we do a number of other practices that are also kind of putting you into that slight state of discomfort. You're training your dopamine system, you're training your mind, you're training your nervous system to lean into that discomfort. And this is profound, guys. Like this is a big deal, because that's really, it's tapping into the core of what resilience really is. We're all incredibly resilient beings, but I think that sadly, a lot of us don't know how to tap into that. And even it's just, the truth is that nobody teaches us how, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's, when you guys were talking at the beginning of the call about these being new practices, I think that they're new in the sense of how we're integrating them into these holistic systems for healing. However, we're talking about the most fundamental functions of the human body and the human mind. Like that's how we're built. It's very sad that we're not taught how to work with the body, how to work with the mind growing up. But that's really ultimately what we're tapping into and becoming conscious, and using all these different exercises to play with it. Right? It's pretty fascinating
I think
stuff.
something cool that you mentioned to me the other day is that we can actually be in a high stress state and be relaxed. So like, there might be a disaster outside, and we have the opportunity to, focus on our breathing and keep in a relaxed state so that we can make very careful decisions. And I think this is really important, because If we run away, then our problem's always waiting for us. And if we freeze, then it's really scary what can happen when you wake back up. So it's like a part of our like natural instinct and survival to just like want to take care of our bodies so that we can do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really important, and some of us are aware about being relaxed, and then lots of people can't. Right? Relax doesn't mean relax and do nothing, but relax so you can do the things efficiently,
Yeah.
fast. If you need to do it fast, right? If you panic and not relax, you your movement, every movement isn't efficient at all, and then you just going down faster, right? By being relaxed, not like doesn't mean you're not taking that thing seriously, right?
Yeah.
You take it seriously, but still relax so you can make good decision, right?
That's correct.
That decision works. Some people have hard time understanding that differences.
Mhm.
Right? So yeah, just
Yeah, that's huge, Satomi, what you're talking about, because ultimately it's impossible for us not to have our nervous system activate, like our sympathetic nervous system. It's impossible. And it really has nothing to do with how brave we are. A lot of people get the two confused, and they think that because they're feeling fear, that somehow, they're not being courageous. That's not the case at all. It's how we process that fear that determines the outcome. So the nervous system is like as we've talking about, it's automatic. So if a flashbang grenade goes off next to us right now, I guarantee you that we're going to be startled, and that our nervous system is going to go into a complete freak out state, and our heart rate is going to go through the roof. That wasn't how brave we were. It had nothing to do with it. It's an automatic reaction of the nervous system. What is within our conscious control, however, is how we respond to that stimulus and that reaction. So at that point, we can spin out of control in our minds and go, oh my God, what is happening? Or worse yet, going into a state of, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. And that's that scratching the record that we go into when we go into that freeze state. Or we can recognize that what is happening. We can recognize what is happening to our nervous system and use our breath and our awareness to calm down, right? And start to like navigate out of that freak out state.
And that's really difficult without a lot of practice before that, because if we just show up and we just try the breathing techniques without practice, it's really hard to calm down. But if we're used to stressing ourselves out and then navigating back out, then we get so good at it that we just start to live life normal, even if the world's on fire.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was going to say. Like a lot of the things that Desiree and I practice are that stress inoculation, right? Because unfortunately, a lot of people think that the way to train our nervous system to handle stress is by meditating. And this is an incomplete practice, because what you're actually training your nervous system to do is to only feel relaxed when it's in that completely controlled environment, and you have your candles burning and your incense and everything is like perfect, and then you go into that relaxation state, right? But trying to meditate while you're in an ice bath, for instance, is kind of a different story, right? Now you have a little bit of stress, and can you go into that state anyway? So stress inoculation is super important. It's training to go into that.
It's like working out.
Well, working out is part of it. You go into that artificial state of stress and relax into it and push through it, right? And over time, that is just, it's very profound what it does to the mind and the nervous system.
Yeah, I think I have experienced that feeling few times when I'm in a dangerous situation, right? I was kind of getting attacked, and actually my heart was going like this, but my mind and the rest of the body knew that stay calm, right? I was I was receiving those big loud message, stay calm, and I was just my heart wasn't staying calm, like oh my god, what's going on? But my body somehow I was able to manage, and then at least from the outside, I knew I looked like I was calm, and then my mind was so it was my body was calm enough so I could think, right?
Right.
I was able to stay like not like this, so I was it's because it's connected, and I was able to think a strategy to get out of that situation, and I did. I got out of the situation safely. But if I was freaking out and let the body whatever wants to do and being in panic, I would stop uh, able to think, right? And then I don't know what would have happened, but yeah, I don't know. That's the perfect state because I remember I was feeling inside a little bit here, right? But because it was really happening, and I felt danger, right? But still, I was able to control my body, and then so I was able to think clearly, right? So that's I think something like that that you were thinking about, and I was doing karate and training hard, so it's like a pushing myself and in a safe environment, right? Every day I was training every day, and then push, 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 a little more, a little more, a little more, and then I learned somehow I learned that how to stay calm and how to use my control my body so I can control my mind, kind of thing. I think that's what you're talking about.
That is exactly what I'm
Yeah, that's
talking
exactly.
about. 100%. And you described it beautifully because again, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be like your body, your heart rate, and you may already actually be experiencing the loss of certain physiological skills, right? Like fine motor skills, going into tunnel vision, selective hearing, all the things that happen under high stress, but your mind stays in control and it knows what to do, and your cognitive functions stay perfectly well. And as a matter of fact, if you've trained this, they actually get better. A little bit of stress actually makes us better at confronting a threat. A lot of stress shuts everything down. So learning how to modulate that and staying present is super important. And I think that some people are just like naturally wired this way. I think that we see that a lot with people that gravitate towards the emergency response fields, you know, and police and military and yeah, paramedics and people like that. They function really well under stress. I know that me personally, you know, I've done a little bit of that kind of work in the past, and I actually kind of like thrive on it. Let's just say that there's like a car accident next to us, and it's time to like jump out of the car and take action, right? And go assist, you know, stop traffic perhaps, or go, you know, render medical aid to people. Um, I can stay in the flow with a situation like that, as where most people freeze. And so it's important to also manage a stressful situation by getting people like giving them a role essentially, and telling people to call 911 or whatever, because people tend to go into that free state. So the cool thing is, what I'm saying is, some people I think are naturally wired that way, but the cool thing is that it can be trained, and I believe it should be trained, because at the end of the day, life is uncertain, right? We can't live in this perfectly controlled environment. Sooner or later, we're gonna have big shocks, and it's important to know how to navigate that. And sometimes there's shocks that are sustained for a very long period of time. The pandemic, for instance, is one of those. It's been a traumatic event, I believe, for, you know, almost everyone out there. And it's been sustained for a very, very long period of time.
Yeah,
And we
the
see the
same is true,
negative.
Alex. Sorry, the same is true for like you're saying, like the flash grenade thing. right? Any kind of stress-inducing situation. But the same is true for just ordinary life day situations. So
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
traffic on the way to work, right? You know, you're at work and your manager comes by your desk, right? Some people, that's a very stressful moment, right? Just
Yeah.
that just shows up. He doesn't even say anything yet, but you're already, oh my God, what's going to happen, right? Or you get called into your manager, right, to his office, like, oh, what's that going to be about? You know, you're at home, you're talking with your partner, right, and something happens that there's tension, right? All of a sudden, for whatever reason, there's tension in the conversation. Your heart starts going, right? How do you deal with those situations? Are you able to, do you panic? Do you freeze? Do you start getting sweaty? And you know all that stress response stuff with your manager, and then not be able to think clearly and work with him, you know, in a clear thinking way to problem solve together and find a solution, because he's coming to you for some kind of solution. So you can help him out, give him what he's looking for, and then look good at work. Or do you panic, right? Which one of those two is going to happen? So what you're talking about in your program, and the same thing is true in a you know relationship situation where there's tension in the conversation. Do you start going into automatic behavior where, oh, this is going to be a fight. This is the same thing that he did last time, right? And it's going to all go bad. I've seen it before, and now I'm going to start, you know, I'm going to start into him too, right? That kind of thing.
That's wrong.
Yeah. Life is not easy. Can be very, very hard, even just normal stuff. And so, and like you said, you guys said you're not trained for this, right? People, there's not generally out there programs that help you be able to be ready and work with a stressful, demanding situation. And those things can go on for years. Your whole life can be stressed. You can be stressing out one little thing after the other. And where does that take you? Heart attack, whatever it is, right? You know, your health is going to suffer, relationships are going to suffer, your work, your career is going to suffer, all that stuff. So the program that you like, the stuff that we do, and the stuff that Sakaso does, the stuff that First Memory does, together, is a beautiful opportunity to rewrite the program, because it's old programs, or lack of training, lack of exercise, you can say, in dealing with stress, dealing with those life stress that sets us up for panic, for
Or the same
into a rut
story.
of negative behavior, right?
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, Dizzy, what was that?
Or the same story, like not rewriting the story where we
Just the same thing again. Oh, here we go again. We're gonna have a throwdown. You know, open up the window, have a row, right? You know, that kind of stuff. So, like, you can change the program. That's the thing. And I'm so excited to be able to work with you guys, because it adds that extra dimension to the way that we work with our clients, that provides us an amazing opportunity. I'm feeling like this has got so much energy to it and so much potential for people to reset things to whatever it is that they want to work on. They want a better relationship with their partner. They want to be able to perform better at work and or just de-stress. Oh my God, right? To heal from past trauma, to be able to have that kind of health and fitness that they're looking for. All this stuff is there if they want it. It is achievable. It's 100% achievable. Those people struggle in their lives. You see it everywhere around us, but that's I think in part because of the approaches that have been taken in the past to work with life's challenges, right? And I feel like although there's beautifully valuable things and everything, and so many things that have been done up till now, I don't feel, to me, as though the a complete package is to get is often offered to people. And because of that, when people go to try these different things, they get something, or maybe they don't get where they want to go, and they end up struggling again, and they feel like change is hard, they feel like life is hard, and there's a lot of negativity and pain that gets shared around because of that, shared around all this pain. And it doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah,
it just doesn't.
One thing it's missing from other approaches, they're not thinking connecting to yourself. That's our first memories approach, Sakaso's approach, connected to your energy, you connected to your body. You just connecting and you remembering who you are,
Yeah.
and bringing
Yeah.
who you are. You have it, right? You're born with it. Everybody is born with the perfect you, authentic, powerful you, but get disconnected. So
Yeah.
us guiding this healing journey, it's if we just say with one phrase, just really connecting to yourself, right? And then lots of different ways, like first memory, body workout, nutrition, and our approach is reading and subconscious shift, right? And so
And then the habit change.
yeah,
Life habit change.
like habit change is going to be like from first memory,
Yeah.
they're going to do that, right?
Yeah.
So all different angle, and just coming into the center and being you, right? Remembering who you are, and that's the most powerful healing tool that you have, right? Us, and we forget.
Every one of us.
Yeah,
every single person walking
including
on Earth.
us. Right?
Yeah, every person on Earth, every person listening to this, you have the power. It's inside of you. Far more than you think. It's there. There's a potential in you that if you by just reconnecting with it and honoring it, and I know that's what First Memory, you guys, that's exactly what you do, is about empowerment, right? And that's our philosophy, is about personal empowerment, is bringing out what people have inside them. So like we can't fix people. That can't be done. It's a mistake to go to anybody out there, and think that they can fix you, because it doesn't happen. You fix yourself by using techniques that work. That's what all it is. Changing the way things are happening in your life in some fashion, you end up fixing yourself. Your own body's healing capacity is unbelievable, and you can tap into that. You can bring it out, and it's beautiful the way you guys do it. The way First Memory, the way you do that is pushing the boundary, letting it heal, pushing the boundary, letting it heal, pushing the boundary, letting it heal, pushing the boundary, letting it heal. You're constantly building that muscle, that figuratively and literally and psychologically, and all in all those dimensions, so that you are bringing forward what's within you, your own personal power, right? You're just owning it.
Absolutely. And going back to what Satomi's client told her, that it feels like cheating. I think we need to cheat. I think that, the times that we're living right now in the world are very important, and they are definitely transitional. And we don't have time to lollygag. We don't have time to take decades working through our issues. We need all of the cheats that we can to speed things up, because the faster we can get into our power, the sooner we can render help for other people, and we can be of service.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say it's cheating. It feels like it's cheating. It's like we have that, right? And we just from that the environment we live in, we are almost forced to forget, get disconnected. So using the wisdom, right, that we were born with, remember that we have this wisdom, right? And then lots of people forget, and we are helping them to remember their wisdom and their power.
Yep.
And so to remember, maybe, I don't know, them not doing by themselves, maybe you can call it cheap, but no, that's theirs. So use it.
Absolutely. That's actually the origin of our name, first memory, right? It's
Yeah.
going back to what is that first memory, to really remember who we
Right.
are and what our nature is.
Yeah.
We just tend to lose touch with that over time, over the years, but
Yeah, and then let
it's
it
always
bloom.
there.
So,
Yeah,
right?
that's what Sakaso literally means as well. Is let it bloom.
So
From
remember
yeah.
and let it bloom.
Yeah. Love
Perfect.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we covered lots today. We want to wrap up soon. If anyone wants to add anything before we wrap up?
We kind of skated past one little thing at one point earlier. Desi, you were talking about the nutrition program, and I don't think it got touched on, but it can be customized to anybody, right? So
Yeah.
that's not a one size fits all, kind of diet plan. It's something that is specifically tailored to that person's life needs, right?
It needs to be, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just based on the activity level, and the goals of the person, weight loss, weight gain, or even maintenance. But then we also go into like symptoms people might be having. And, we are not licensed doctors, but what we do have is a lot of experience with supplementation and healing. So what we provide is uh, options of things to try, which have worked for other people. And obviously links to research, because it's important that people empower themselves with research and also visit a doctor as well if it's a really serious health issue. But there are things that we can do to empower ourselves immediately.
Yeah, and this customization really happens at two levels. One, from a body composition perspective. So we truly do aim to empower the people that we work with to be able to manipulate their body composition if they choose to do so. So if they're happy with where they're at, we'll give them a macronutrient breakdown and a caloric intake that will keep them there. But if they feel that they want to get a little bit leaner or perhaps put on a little bit of muscle, we'll help them get there as well. So that from one perspective, there's that body composition, and the other perspective is health and immunity and detoxification. So we'll give guidance also based on their lifestyle and their goals. And like Desiree was saying, and if they're struggling with any particular symptoms or they have any food allergies, limitations, anything from that perspective, we will adjust. So it truly is a customized plan.
That's actually quite remarkable what you're talking about, because I have never seen a program that takes that much into consideration. In other words, right, it's always targeted towards something like weight loss. That's the only thing that a diet, this diet will do, right? Or you're in a workout, or you're on a weight building program. You want to put on muscle. This is what you do, right? So it's like it's so channelized, right, into one goal. But what you're talking about is being able to balance between those things and be able to fit it to whatever that person needs, including these life goals. So like, dealing with stress, right? Or some other kinds of health complications, right? The health, just so, is there an example that you can give that, like, for a life goal, for example, because that's a very different thing that people do not normally connect to a nutrient program.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the most common ones is anxiety. I think a lot of us really struggle with anxiety, and so really bringing that awareness into the impact that our foods have on our microbiome and on our nervous system and on our energy levels is huge. I think that tends to be a blind spot for a lot of folks, and it's still a very, very new science when it comes to really understanding the connection between the brain and the gut. But it's really big. So that is definitely something that that can be managed or at least assisted with diet.
Mm-hmm.
That totally makes sense. There's actually more nerves in your gut than in your brain.
Yeah.
That's insane. It's like,
Yeah.
and there's an incredible amount of nerves in your heart too. That's another subject. But like, just there's so much of people take people take digestion for granted, and they shouldn't. There's so much going on there. It's so complicated. And sometimes you feel down after you eat, for example, right? Sometimes you feel lifted up by the way that you eat. It all depends on the situation, right? So there's so much there, and I'm really impressed with your guys' approach that is able to take those kinds of things into consideration, because I don't know of any other program that does that.
Yeah. So this is really exciting for us too. This new approach that we are doing, and make both First Memory's approach and Sakaso memory even more powerful, and they can heal faster, right? And then reach their goals faster. So that's really, we are excited, and we are so happy that we could share this today. We didn't have any questions during the live today, but whoever watching, if you have questions, you can just leave a question in the comments, and we can answer those comments. You can just ask question to First Memory, leave the question, or question to Sakaso, or question for everybody, doesn't matter. But yeah, just leave question in the comments, and we'll get back to you. Anything else?
Well, next week we are planning to focus on
What? I don't know.
We're planning to focus on more detail. We're going to go even further. We're going along a beautiful path, I think, so far in the first two episodes. But next week we're excited. We're going to be talking about more specifics of what this integrated program is going to be about. So if people are curious about that, come on back next week. And if you have any specific questions you'd like us to answer, any subject areas you'd like us to go into, please just go onto our website, Sakaso.ca, send us a note, or go to firstMemory.one. Same deal, right? You guys, at First Memory, you guys can handle people's questions and direct them in a productive way, right? So either way, send us your questions, and we'd be happy to dive into that in the next episode.
Yay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Yay. All right.
Okay.
See you guys.
Hey, thank you.
Bye.